Howdy doody do, motherfuckers. How are you? So today's video is about how that was weird. It was a white piece of hair in my mouth. That was crazy. I visited somebody's granny very recently. No, I'm fucking with you. That's fucking disgusting. Unless that's what you into, bro. So anyways, today's video is about my experience in or my experiences just going up and down the financial ladder. Um it's a weird story, and it would seem like a lie to a lot of people. Or no, actually, the people that know me, they kind of understand why I am the way I am if they heard the story. So the beginning of my life, I was, you know what I'm saying, before I was really able to remember the things that I was taking in, we lived on like Southeast Austin. Like, this is whenever Southeast Austin was still a little bit ghetto. We lived in Southeast Austin. And yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was considered the hood, but you know what I'm saying. My father taught himself IT, um, and he became a contractor overseas. My mother became a realtor, and she was making buku bucks. Like, my mother was making more money than my father at certain points, and my father was bringing in right at 6 figures a year, or a little bit under 6 figures a year. So doing very well as a family. Getting us into school and like like nice nice collared shirts and things of that nature, and I had nice shoes, and um I played sports. It was just relatively laid back. Relatively laid back. Um my father, whenever he came back from overseas, so this is probably whenever I'm like, well, he wasn't back all the way. He was, I'm like 7, and he comes back sometimes, and he goes back over there because he's a contractor, like I said. Um, my father is different. Being in a fucking war zone will change you. He's a lot more on edge, and a lot more quick to anger. Mm, so the marriage kind of falls apart. My mother and my father split, and me and my mother, my mother and my brother moved to Houston. Um, this is a little bit. I think this is like a little bit after the housing market crashed. So being a realtor really wasn't hidden for what it was previously. And my mother decided she wanted to be a massage therapist. So in Houston, there's more opportunities for that. So we're in Houston. Um, we are in the hood in Houston. This is one place I can say I actually lived in the hood. Um, just a lot of fuckery. Like, my brother's best friend was killed in Houston. I can't recall if he was there or not. My best friend was killed in Houston, or yeah, one of my best friends. His name was Nick, and he was killed because somebody, like, they. It was so fucking stupid. Like, we went to a school with uniforms, and I swear this is a setup. I cannot recall the school because I was really fucking young, but the school had uniforms. It was red, white, and blue. And it was so fucking stupid because red and blue are the blood and crip colors. Like, the uniform is supposed to keep people from getting in trouble that way, but it actually fueled it. So, and white is such a bad color for kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? We get dirty all the time. Nick was like we deal with bullies a lot. Like, people would jump, really him, or people would just, like, there was a group of kids that would jump other kids, like, just basically a tiny gang running around the terrorizing the school. And like, Nick got jumped one day, and I've dealt with this like guilt for a while, because I feel as if I should have done more. But now I realize like it was really the teacher's fault. They weren't doing what the fuck they were supposed to do. Like, this is at recess. Why aren't you paying better attention to the kids? Anyways, Nick is getting attacked. And like I run over there and I smack somebody in the back of the head. Like I like thunderclap that nigga in the back of that nigga's head. And then he runs over there and I believe he spit on me or some shit, but he didn't attack me. But like Nick started having a seizure. Now I'm not saying, I'm not 100% sure if Nick died or not, but that was the last time I ever saw Nick. So yeah, Houston was really crazy. We weren't financially super well off, and the school was fucking awful. So as you can see, I went from like up here, like, you know what I'm saying, top 5% to like, you know what I'm saying? We still have food at home. I didn't have to worry about the bills, about the lights being turned off or anything of that nature. I was always taken care of in that instance. So my father comes back. As I said, he was different. He's like, all right, like my son he seems different. Like my son, the happy bubbly boy that he once was, he's not acting that way no more. I fucking hated Houston. It smelled like shit there to me. I was used to living in a small town called Manor. It's not so small anymore, but I loved living in Manor. I could smell clean. I liked I liked the air. It wasn't polluted. But living in Houston, I was like, man, it smells like straight fucking manure everywhere. My dad comes back. He's like, all right, let's go home. And he kind of bought my love, if that makes any sense. Like, almost bribed me. But he was still very, like, quick to anger. If that makes any sense. I'll speak more about that in, like, other videos. This is more about the economic side of the house. So I moved back in, and we're doing pretty well for ourselves. I just couldn't do it. I was like, nah, it's not it. Like, I'm afraid of fucking everything. I'm afraid to do anything. So I'm gonna move back in with my mother. My mother has had a condition her entire life. It came from abuse when she was younger in the foster care system, so I'm very vocal about that as well. But she has contraption-like pains every day, and it's a lot to deal with. But just her having to deal with knowing that she has the capacity to be at the top and to be very competitive for what she does, and having to deal with that amount of pain really, really just, it just weighed on her. So I moved back in with my mother. She's starting to change a bit too. However, it's not as bad as my father. I definitely think he has fucking PTSD. At this point in time, it's more stable. Like, financially, it's more stable. So I'm able to, I'm not walking around in expensive clothes or anything like that. I'm just a regular ass kid doing regular ass kid shit. Except for I was bullied and shit like that. That's a whole nother story. So I bounced back and forth between my mother and father for a couple years. They both had their own issues, for two different reasons. I just, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, which poison do I want to pick? You know what I'm saying? Which one do I want to pick? My mother, she ended up moving into the homeless shelter, and I ended up moving in with her. And that time was so odd because as shitty as it was being in the shelter, I enjoyed being that close to downtown. Like, we were in literally the heart of downtown Austin. And I loved looking out the window, and we could walk and go get pizza like certain days, and We could serve people in the kitchen. It was a pretty, you know what I'm saying? It was like staying in a kind of like a dorm room, and I enjoyed it, even though that was kind of the scene as like the worst time. I really enjoyed it. I could see the light of the situation. It didn't really bother me. It's not like I was really even able to tell anybody about what was going on. I didn't have many friends at the time. And even if I did have friends at the time, I wouldn't, like, the way I saw it, I was like, man, this shit is pretty lit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get to save up money. We get to, you know what I'm saying? Whenever we move out of here, we're going to be able to move into a decent apartment. And, while we're here, we get to experience life. um, I'm trying to decide if I really want to speak about certain things. So what have we discussed so far? We've discussed, okay, we living good, like big banking as a family splitting apart, downfall. Really, the moral of this story is to understand that, like, money cannot buy everything. Money is important. However, it's way more important things, especially whenever it comes to children. Like, this is something that I went through when I was basically a child, and I was more happy in a shelter than I was dealing with somebody who's somewhere where I'm afraid, you know. Um, I guess this video is more so for people who, like, if your pocket's weak right now, bro, like, understand that there are people who have a bunch of fucking money and their life is shittier than yours. Money is important. Money equals freedom. However, if you trade freedom for more money, you're going backwards. That's relative wealth. If you are, like, for example, you got $1 million, but you can't decide where you work, when you work, how you work, and who you work with, and how you work. I think I said that one already. Versus somebody with $40,000. $40,000, they decide when they work, how they work, who they work with, where they work, and how much they work. And I don't know if I said that already. Who would you say has more freedom? This person can decide, okay, fuck that. I don't want to live in Texas anymore. I want to go here, 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 here. They can do that. But the person who's making $1 million a year, they're tied down, and somebody's over them, like, breathing on their neck. Who would you say is more free? Just because you're getting a bigger check doesn't mean that stress disappears. Just because you're making less doesn't mean, like, I'm really trying to make this video not devalue money, but I'm trying to make people value freedom. Because as a kid, like, living in a shelter, I was more free. I could literally go explore downtown Austin. Like, as a kid, that shit was like what the fuck? It's like, ooh, can we go to that pizza place on 5th Street? Like, oh my god, I love that place. This is fucking awesome, man. And then, we come back in here, go to sleep. Like, nigga, there's no dishes, and you know what I'm saying? There's no dishes to clean. I'm shit. We vibing. Yeah, just understand that money's not everything. Understand that, yes, it's important to an extent in order to gain freedom, but do not trade that freedom for money. Materialistically, with my father, when he was very, very unhealthy at the time, going through the trauma that he had seen, it, I had video games, and I had, like, I could, what I'm saying, video games, and what else did I have? Cool equipment for sports and things of that nature. However, the things I remember more is with my mother. Whenever I get decided, like whenever we're in Houston, we used to go to this big ass field, and it was this super tall building, like a glass building. It was beautiful. It was blue glass, and it was just a big ass field in front of it. I remember having picnics there and hanging out. Like, if you haven't watched my video on like the confused rant on materialism, I recommend going and watching it, because I realize the same shit that's going to make me happy now is the same shit that's going to make me happy as I make more money. And that has literally freed me, because now I'm somewhat enjoying the journey and I'm not in so much of a fucking hurry to get that amount of money. Removing that super rushed hurry is making me move more efficiently towards getting that money, because I realize it's like, what am I gonna do when I get this money? Still wake up early, go to the gym, still fucking go to the studio and da 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 da. But as I get more money, I don't have to do the other bullshit that comes with it. So it's like, okay, I'm excited to drop this bullshit. However, I realize I'm never going to be able to, or I'm never going to have to live with this bullshit again. So now it's a whole different perspective of looking at it. Perception is everything. As crazy as my life has been, as crazy as, the trauma I've been through, as crazy as the situations I've been in, life and death situations, as crazy as my face being on the news for shit I didn't do, everywhere. Seeing the bright side makes you basically fucking invincible. Having a goal makes you practically and fucking invincible. That's what this channel is about, to make you understand, whether it be psychologically, like, okay, I've read a book and I can break this down psychologically now, or I can explain to you how a psychologist has said it, or spiritually, I can explain to you how my experiences have gone through it, and the spiritual point of view, or spiritual I'm forgetting the word, what I've decided about it, like my spiritual conclusion of it, like, hey, this is crazy, this is insane, this is how I've decided to be so strong. Like, you read stories about people going to whole different countries, or there's a story about a man who went to a whole another country in Africa. I want to say it's Uganda. And he got there to help. He went there to help. Just as he got there, an entire fucking war started. He was stranded for 4 months, and the only thing he was able to eat was like spinach / like oat slime. Like, that was his only food. But that was his only food. It was a whole war going on outside. He had to fear for his safety at all times. I believe the plumbing and electricity had stopped working at one point, but he was happy because he had decent food and friends around him that like were real friends. Once you realize true value comes from relationships, and like just being like realizing that every moment is sacred. Realizing those two things, I really believe, make you happy. Like, the only reason I even, like, okay, I say I believe I can make $1 million a month, and I truly believe that. But the only reason I really believe that shit is because I need $1 million a month to really do the shit I want to do, which doesn't even fucking involve me. Like, I want to buy land for the natives. Like, okay, this was y'all's land. Some rich motherfuckers don't want to give it back to y'all, so let's buy it. And this is our shit. This is private land. What the fuck are they gonna do? Um, I want to be able to save small mom and pop businesses from monopolies. Nah, fuck saying I want. I'm going to buy land for my people and for other indigenous people. I'm not even gonna say going to no more. I am creating community gardens in the hoods so that we can stop eating this fucking poison. I am saving small businesses. That's the only fucking reason I would even want that amount of money. There is no point, because after you reach a certain amount of money, you're fucking free. If you're, as long as you're not getting it in ways where you have to give away your time and shit like that, you're fucking free. There is no more like, I want to make a million just to make a million. I mean, unless that's become your hunt, unless that's become just your hobby, that makes any sense. Like, I just want to see how much money I can make, which is, what I'm saying, it's possible. That's just not me. It's like, okay, well, I can fucking travel and not have to worry about shit. I rarely work, or, what I'm saying? Like, that's just those few things are really what make a person happy, in my experience. Realizing that the external really doesn't fucking matter. Realizing that anybody outside of your group really doesn't matter. And that sounds really shallow. But one moment. It sounds really shallow. But I'm very good at giving examples. Whenever protesters were just basically put in a corner and slowly arrested one by one after we've left the protest or followed home or whatever, the anxiety of what the external world said about us or even thought about us disappeared. And we had some very beautiful moments during that time, dancing on the corner and just vibing out. Drunk people riding by on 6th Street, like, what the fuck are they doing? But we're enjoying ourselves. You can't enjoy yourself and you're drunk and going here and there and there and there because you're trying to find happiness outside. You're trying to find happiness somewhere else. But we found happiness here. We've decided to enjoy this moment and dance in the flames. Fuck you. And that's how it really was. After my brother passed, I didn't care about the external world or what anybody said about me or anybody said about my family. We decided to dance out of my brother's wake because this is a celebration, and I'm not going to let anybody tell me that it is not a celebration. Everybody says, I'm Christian, and when you die, you go to heaven. Okay? I'm this and that, and when you die, you go here. And it's great. We don't believe none of that shit. We just believe that you go back home. And we're turning the hell up. So you're telling me that you really believe in heaven, and fuck people's opinions. They were looking at us weird at my own brother's funeral. Talking about, you don't have no rhythm, you can't dance. Bitch, fuck you. Bitch, fuck you. I don't care. Are you trying to make me feel self-conscious at my own brother's funeral? We are doing a ritual to send him home. We are doing a ceremony to send him home, dancing out. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make this a rant about happiness. Well, I guess subconsciously I did. Because the whole video was really supposed to be about how I've been financially very well, like in a very financially well spot as a family, in a very financially low spot as a family. However, I was just as fucking happy. I was just as happy in both of those spots. The shit that mattered, that really was predicated toward happiness, aka a healthy home life, aka having a few friends, aka being in sports and working out and having decent food. Like, okay, after that shit, it really didn't fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? Okay, mom is not mad, or mom is happy, dad is happy, brother's happy. I have a couple friends. I go outside every day and ride my bike. Like, bro, it was a good time. After certain things are met, like, the external just doesn't fucking matter. Trying to make yourself happy from external shit, and yes, relationships are somewhat external. However, it is also internal because you have to do work to make sure those relationships are well. Like, if I got into a fight at school and I came home and I was mad at my parents and cussed them the fuck out. Like, that would not be well. I need to regulate my own emotions. Whenever certain things were met, I was happy regardless. In today's world, we think that going and getting the bread is going to make you happy. Going and getting the clout is going to make you happy. Going and whatever. Okay, look, my face was on the news. I finally locked down a job by talking to another felon who was like, okay, just don't talk about that shit. I had people walking in and recognizing me for some shit at the time I was somewhat proud of. It didn't change shit. It didn't change a fucking thing. After certain things are met, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm currently doing a course called The Science of Well-Being, taught by a Yale professor. After I take this course, I'll come back and relay a lot of the information I've been given. If you want to go check out that course, it's called The Science of Well-Being, taught by a Yale professor. So it's Science of Well-Being, Yale. It's free. Go check it out. Most of this shit just doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's like you're making a homemade cake. You have homemade icing, you have homemade batter. Or homemade batter to bake the cake. You spend so much time on the icing and it is bomb. Everybody you give it like, oh, taste this icing. They're like, this shit is bomb. This shit is amazing. This is the best icing I've ever had. But the cake is trash. Like, the cake has people gagging. No matter how much icing you put on that cake, it's going to be trash. It doesn't matter how much even if it's the best icing in the world, the cake is still going to be trash. So why the fuck are you going and trying to make this icing perfect before you have the cake perfect? Like, you've completely neglected the cake and you're just focused on the icing. I really believe that it's insecurity because you don't think that you could really achieve those things. Because realistically, they require just as much work as getting the other shit. And honestly, if you get the cake looking right, if you get the cake, the real shit that matters, the meat and potatoes right, the other shit is so easy to attain. It's so much easier to attain. Okay, I sit down and I meditate and now my social anxiety is not there. I meditate, and all I did when I was in jail was meditate. And I got out and I hit the ground running. I was plotting before my face was even on the news. Then I saw it, and since I had been meditating for so long, we've got to hit back. My brother called me. He said, man, your face was on the news. I saw your face on the news. I was like, ah, shit, for real? And anxiety. But then I plotted. I got my team assembled. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? I talked to them for hours. Okay, boom, 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 boom. We got this. We're going to spread out this. We're going to pump this out. Everybody needs to know this side of the story. They all went and did it. Boom, 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 boom. Next day I wake up. I go to a meeting. They tell me not to go to a meeting. Sit down. Just stay still. Don't do nothing. I got to go. I was so focused because I had developed that internal me and my mental were so connected that I was like, I don't give a fuck what you guys are saying. Even though the world is going against me right now and you guys are supporting me, that is not what needs to be done. That is not what needs to be done. Boom. A week and a half later, I have $8,000 in my GoFundMe and I don't have to pay for my attorney. My story's the other half of the story is being told. Gerald was a medic at the protest. Gerald has a whole documentary about getting police officers help. This thing that they're saying, what they're trying to paint him as isn't real. Like, this is some fake news shit. You know what I'm saying? It got to the point to where even congressmen and women knew about my case. Simply because I decided, yes, I am going to go get this shit. I am going to prevent this story of whatever the hell they're trying to say as being pinned to me 100%. I'm going to fight back. And I'm going to win. I don't know how I'm going to win, but I'm going to win. And I'm going to take the steps Listening to my intuition, I'm going to get it done. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video because it was just all over the place. Your mental is very important for what you want to achieve. If you try to build the building before you build the foundation, it is going to crumble, no matter how amazing that building is. No matter how big, how amazing the architecture is, if the foundation isn't good, it's going to crumble. And the foundation is here, 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 the physical, the heart, the mental, and your surroundings. After that is set, and you decide to go on to do something else, you are going to dominate in it simply because nobody else is worried about their foundation, because they don't realize that that is the foundation. You have a foundation. Like, oh, damn, that building is amazing, and it's da-da-da-da-da. You're looking at other people's stuff. And 9 times out of 10, they don't even have a foundation. So the first gush of wind is going to knock their shit over. You can't. It's fine to compete. Somebody else is building their foundation. Like, me and my friends compete, like, friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder what he's. You know, damn, I don't feel like working out. He's probably working out. You know what I'm saying? I go and get it. But comparing is awful. Like, oh, look at his building. Damn, I haven't even started building my building. That's no good. You don't know what went on in building that building. You don't even know if he really owns that building. He might just be the face of the shit and the fall guy. As an artist, you're comparing yourself to other artists because you see them getting numbers and you think, wow, they're amazing, and these motherfuckers might be buying bots. They might have signed to a record label and they have a shitty deal. They might not. You might be making just as much money as them from your music and you have no numbers. Foundation is everything. Stop worrying about trying to build a building before you have the foundation. You're going to fail every time, and you might not fail immediately. You might get really fucking far. Like, oh shit, he's all the way here, or oh my god, I'm so far out. This is insane. But the first gush of wind, and maybe you might not fail. Maybe you're different. I'm telling you, if you would have had that foundation, you're gonna go further. You're gonna go further. Simple as that. That's it. That's all. You would have gone further if you had that foundation. Just work on it is not a waste of time to work on your self-image. It is not a waste of time to develop yourself. It is a waste of time bashing your head against fucking doing something that isn't going to work because you are the sole pusher of that. Like, you are the sole builder of that. It is not going to work if you were broken yourself. It just won't. I've tried to do the external stuff to make me not as sad or not grieve as badly or not a demon in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I've done that and it just doesn't work. Now that I'm looking at it and I'm finally starting to work on the internal, it is a fun journey, honestly. It has its ups and downs, but I see the progress. I see the progress. I know my end goal. I know I will reach my end goal. It's just, I know that end goal isn't going to exactly make me happy. It's not going to make me happy. It might add to my happiness, but it isn't going to make me happy. I'm going to perform in Japan. I'm going to perform in Rolling Loud. I'm going to do all this crazy shit. I am doing this. However, it's not going to make me happy. Add to it, yes. Make me? No. It's like, I know I probably have a younger audience. It's like you're saving up for a PS5, or you're saving up for a PS5. You're saving up for a certain piece of equipment for like your sports gear. Um, you're saving up for a specific phone, and the whole time you're saving, you're excited. You have that goal, and you're excited every time you put money in your bank. Like, ooh wee, I'm $50 closer. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. Tell me you don't feel bored of that shit after 2-3 weeks. Tell me you don't start to slightly, subtly start disrespecting it. It's because that stuff doesn't make you happy. However, if you were happy, with whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you were happy with with yourself, you don't disrespect those things, because every time you go and experience them, that little of happiness comes with it. You know what I'm saying? The icing can't save the cake for long. Oh my god, this icing is so, the fuck. It might be sweet, you might enjoy it. Sweetness, you know what I'm saying? It falls off. For example, if I decide to go get a piece of fruit right now, I haven't really eaten any sugar today. If I decide to go get a piece of fruit or a PB&J sandwich, that shit is smack. But if I eat a Twinkie and then eat the fruit, like, it's just not going. It's not going to hit. You understand? Like, that's a whole other video. That's basically instant and delayed gratification broken down. That's gonna be my next video. Stay tuned. I'm probably gonna upload it right after this one. Go get it, come back with it, figure out how to make yourself happy now. I mean, obviously, if you don't have food. If you don't have, like, if you have to worry about surviving, obviously get that handled. But if your survival is okay, I'm not going to starve and die. Like, I have a roof over my head. I have, I'm not worried about survival. Your happiness is not going to come from getting something external. Go get it, come back with it, shit. Figure out what it is you want to do.